Good evening, YouTube. It's your man, All the Way Joy Page, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, as you know, I did some couple of birthday videos this afternoon, and this is one I just caught about a couple hours ago, and I had to put this one together because if I didn't, I'll be in the wrong. And I was a big fan of this gentleman back in the day. I used to watch him play like any kid. And like most kids, always saying, I want to be like Mike. And I want to be like Mike Tyson. But most definitely, I want to be like this man right here. This is Michael Jeffrey Jordan. And he is a legend. Everybody knows him as this Airness, Air Jordan, and or MJ, It's just, he's been in the game for so long. I mean, you know, and he's from my originally he was born in New York City, in Brooklyn, but his family moved to my home state of North Carolina, where he lived in Wilmington. Now Mike was the fourth kid out of five, with his mother of his parents, Dolores and James. Remember his father, who the story about his father. We'll get to that later. And as a kid, he was very athletic. He played a lot of sports. He, besides being known for his sports, for love for basketball, he also played baseball and football. And by the time he was sophomore year, he was 5'11". He was taller than most of his friends. Now, by around about I think the early '80s, Mike went to University of North Carolina, UNC, which is it's a great school. It's I think one of the schools that really you know set the standard in opportunities for a lot of black people, unlike Duke, who they're good for raping strippers and whatever else. Ha 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 ha. I'm not a fan of Duke. I'll tell you right now. And he played under the great Dean Smith, from his college years, from the good part of from I think what was that thing from '81 to '84, I believe. And they also when he was with Duke, they won a few championships. I think they won at least two or three, I believe. I think Dean Smith at one point had one of the most excuse me, championships during this time. And later on, he was recruited around about, I would say about 85 when he got drafted into the NBA, and he's playing and got picked for by the third. He was the third overall pick for the Chicago Bulls after Akeem Olajuwon, who went to Houston Rockets. And there's another, just great. There's a great list of guys who was part of that class in '84. Clyde Drexler's also, and I think some others. I'm trying to remember. Anyway, in his first season, Jordan averaged 20.8, 20 points, PPG, and 51.5 shooting average. And he did a lot. I mean, for that first season, the Chicago kind of struggled, and but he still was able to be voted Rookie of the Year. And later on, he also in '92, he was drafted into the become the first major league basketball players to play for the United States in the Olympics. And then finally in '91, between '91 and '93, the Bulls three-peated as champions, and that's the three-peat, which is always people knows, but that time, around that time, tragedy hit, as we know, and his father, James, was found murdered. And his thing is, the way he was killed in the county where I live. And I know the spot where he was killed at, where his car is found, because I usually when I go and go to my therapy, you can drive over. It's like right over 95. It used to be, there used to be a hotel a little bit away from 90 away from where he was at. He could have made it a few miles. He could have, but there's always that suspicion of that. But anyway, then he played for a short term around in with the Chicago White Sox, but then later they sent him to their AAA team, and he eventually didn't do as well because he hadn't played baseball since he was a kid, you know, and then eventually came back, and played for the Bulls, and they three-peated again, so they had two three-peats. I remember people talking junk how they say they didn't want him back, but Tony Kuchar can do nothing, and Joe and Scottie Pippen needs somebody to save him, pull him out. And in around about 99, about 2000, he decided to retire, but he came back again. He played for 2 more years with the Washington Wizards, or AKA the Washington Bullets. And then he finally retired about 2003. He likes to play golf, and he has also a racing club where he races motorcycles, and he does a lot of stuff. I mean, also he has a little habit I'm not gonna get into too much, but it's just that's just one thing. And he owns the the Charlotte Hornets, who at one time was the Charlotte Bobcats, and that's a good thing. It's good representative of a black man who's part of the system. But some people say, nah, well, but anyway, that's not here to here there. And he has been a all-star. He's been in all-star games several times during his career, and he's been a winner of the all-star player MVP. And I mean, he just has so many honors and just just hard to count sometimes. And he set records. I remember one time he had a flu and he shot 51 points in one game. That was just crazy. The man was sick and dying, and he shot 51 points in one game. I think later that was surpassed by Kobe Bryant by 2 or 3 points. And also, being a gold medalist, representing the country with the Dream Team, that was something amazing, because it used to be back in the day, you usually get college kids to go play for the United States when it comes to the Olympics. But now it's mostly NBA players. So that's ridiculous. You want the best of the best. That's fair to do. And then he's been a brand, everybody buys shoes, Air Jordans. I never bought them because I've never been much for a Nike fan. Well, I do buy Nikes, but Nikes that fit my feet. I have wide feet. And those Air Jordans, I'm not gonna pay people. It's crazy. But other than Nike, he had brands with Wheaties, Gatorade, Hanes. I mean, I remember he had his own line of suits. I mean, Ballpark. I mean, he was just everywhere. I mean, I think he was the most advertised um person before. I think before death it was Bo Jackson, but he became I think he surpassed Bo Jackson. I think the only person that surpassed him now I had to be I think maybe LeBron James, or I maybe say Kobe or Tiger Woods. And then he starred in the movie classic Space Jam. And he, that's his first acting credits. He done some little stuff here and there, some guest appearances on TV shows and stuff like that. But everybody loves Space Jams. There's supposed to be the sequel coming out this year with LeBron James. And he was married to his first wife, Juanita, back in 1989. But eventually things, like anything, situations, they went their own separate ways in 2002. And I don't think she's gonna get remarried because she had a big settlement. And you see, here's the thing: is most of these wives of these, basically these superstar level basketball players, when most wives of any kind of really rich man would never get remarried, because once you get remarried, you lose that money, because that means you got a new husband and his responsibility to take care of you. So she'll probably have some dude around the house and whatever. But that's what I'm saying. But he's a father of 3 kids. His son Jeffrey. His other son, what was that son's name? I think I saw his name. Jeffrey's. I think Jeffrey's older. That's was based on his middle name. And then his daughter Jasmine. And I saw that name. I'm looking it up because there's so much stuff about him. You just just so much about Jordan. You can't just put it all in one sitting. So you try to do little cliff notes, condensed of it. And like I said, he has, he's, like I say, he's like his father, James. He has 5 kids. The 3 he had with Juanita and 2 with his current wife. And he got married around about 2011, and he has 2 set of twins. and his daughter Jasmine, 2019, gave him a grandson. And a few years ago, they retired, his jersey in North Carolina, the Tar Heels. So no one can ever wear another 23 in UNC. So he might have to wear 22. But like I said, he set records, surpassed boundaries. He's done stuff that a lot of people, especially as a black man, come as an athlete. He just was a businessman. You may not like stuff he did, stuff he said, or whatever else, but you gotta respect um what he has done in the sport. And even though I think some teams have the Bulls have retired his jersey 23. Remember he came back. He was 20. He was 45 because he retired that jersey that time, but then he unretired it so he could play in it. And then now it's retired again. But that's how it is. He was Jordan, and it's just as a kid watching him jump up in there and dunking the ball. And one time I think the story was that he was dunking the ball at an exhibition game overseas and he broke the back of the glass. Now that was before Shaq started doing it. And there's other players that did it before, I think. And I remember Daryl Dawkins, Chocolate Thunder. He did it quite often. But like I said, he's just an amazing man, a great player. He has so much history. If I think one thing I think Kobe surpassed one of his records, but I believe like this: if he didn't retire for that year or so, I think it'd been hard for Kobe to surpass it. I believe it would have been. It probably took, depending on how well he would have kept on playing, it wasn't took that year or so off. But like I said, it's just like I said, he's just one of those greatest guys. He's gonna go out in history with guys like, Oscar Robertson, Bill, what was it? Oh, God, I know his name. Ooh, I can't forget. Bill was a W. Bill. Well, I would say Julius Irvin, Dr. J, Bill Russell. Sorry, Bill Russell, and so many great legends. That made this game so popular and fun to watch, especially when you were a kid. And I know about it. I think like a lot of people, they just might want to talk about the other stuff that was in his life and stuff he did, but that's not important because today's his birthday, and I think he's probably enjoy it, smoking a cigar, hanging out with his kids and his grandkids, and you should enjoy it. Have a good time. Anyway, it's your man all the way, George Page. Happy birthday to his rareness. Don't like, subscribe. Don't subscribe. I'm out.